There is a specific kind of tired that you know all too well. You work hard and you set ambitious goals for yourself, putting in the grueling hours while the rest of the world sleeps comfortably. And yet the massive breakthrough you were promised never seems to arrive. It feels exactly as though you are driving with the emergency brake pulled tight. You push through the daily grind and you smile for the people around you, but inside your spirit is completely exhausted by the endless struggle. You read the books and you write down your affirmations every single night. You fall asleep hoping tomorrow will be different, but you wake up to the exact same reality staring back at you. I am here to tell you that this is not a lack of effort. You do not have a motivation problem to fix because your dedication is stronger than most men will ever achieve. You have a programming problem. Deep within the architecture of your subconscious, there is an outdated script. It runs on a continuous loop in the dark, quietly sabotaging every conscious step you take toward building true wealth. Look around you at the people who seem to attract money effortlessly. They do not hustle harder than you do every day, and they certainly do not sacrifice their physical health for a miserable paycheck. And yet the universe seems to bend completely to their will. You watch them and wonder what secret you are missing, secretly wondering if you are somehow fundamentally broken. Stop thinking that way right now. You are not broken, and you are not unworthy of abundance. You have simply been lied to by a society that profits heavily from your endless physical labor. They told you that if you just grind harder, you will eventually win the game. But the universe does not respond to physical exhaustion, and it does not reward the man who burns out chasing a distant dream. The universe responds entirely to the frequency you project. Your brain does not shut off when you close your eyes at night because your subconscious is a tireless contractor waiting for instructions. The emotions you feel right before sleep are the blueprints you hand over to it. If you go to sleep in fear, your mind builds a reality of scarcity. You are literally programming your own failure while you rest. Every time you stress over bills, you send a powerful signal deep into your nervous system. Your brain receives this negative signal and immediately switches into a state of deep biological panic. Science calls this the biological survival wave. When you operate on a survival wave, your mind closes itself off to opportunity entirely. You become completely blind to the incredible wealth that is circling right in front of your face. You cannot outwill a biological survival wave. You can repeat positive affirmations until your voice is completely hoarse and your throat hurts. But if your internal frequency is broadcasting panic, the universe will only reflect that same devastating panic back to you. This is the invisible enemy you face. This is the heavy chain holding you down in the dirt. It is not your fault that you feel this way, because you inherited this programming from a world that wants you to remain a drifter. A drifter is someone who weakly lets external circumstances dictate his fate. But you were not placed on this earth to be a drifter. You were born to be a creator. A creator is a sovereign commander who forces reality to bend to his will. You have felt the call to greatness burning inside your chest for years, but you do not yet know how to structure that immense power, and you do not know how to switch off the survival wave holding you back. You are searching for the key to unlock your true potential. Before we dive deeper into this universal law, I want to plant a seed in your mind. There is something powerful hidden from the public eye. It is something discovered not in a motivational book, but inside a classified laboratory. It is a biological secret funded by elite billionaires and completely verified by top-tier neuroscience. It finally explains something I know you have felt deep in your soul for a very long time. It explains the frustrating gap between the wealth you visualize and the cold reality you wake up to. I will reveal exactly what this is before we finish our lesson today. But first, you must understand why the financial deck was stacked against you from birth. You must understand the hidden architecture of your own mind. So hold this question carefully in your thoughts as we move forward together. What if your struggle to attract abundance is not a lack of hustle, but a dormant frequency waiting to be switched on? What if the secret to wealth is already inside your head? Keep those questions in the forefront of your mind as we proceed. We are going to tear down the weak habits of the average man, and we will permanently install the mental framework of the 1%. The 1% do not leave their subconscious mind to pure chance. They act as the sovereign commander of their entire inner world. They ruthlessly guard their minds against the noise of the desperate masses, and you must learn to do the exact same thing starting today. You must step into your tremendous power as the architect of your own destiny. You must say to yourself that you are finally done playing small, and you are done letting fear write the script of your life. That old chapter of endless struggle is officially over. The moment you decide to take control is the moment the entire universe shifts in your favor. It will not be an easy path to walk. The drifter inside you will always try to pull you back into the dangerous comfort of the familiar. But comfort is the ultimate enemy of human greatness. You must draw a firm line in the sand right now. You must commit to mastering the invisible forces that govern your physical reality. Your thoughts are not just fleeting ideas passing randomly through your head. They are powerful magnetic forces drawing your future into existence, pulling circumstances and people directly into your personal orbit. If your orbit is filled with chaos, it is simply because your mind is chaotic. Order your mind today, and you will finally order your world. You will become an unstoppable force of nature. The drifter accepts the terrible hand he was dealt by fate. The creator looks at the cards and reshapes the entire game to his ultimate advantage. Here is the truth that no one will ever tell you. Your subconscious mind is always a tireless contractor. It never takes a day off, and it never actually sleeps. While your physical body rests in the bed, your mind is actively constructing the reality you will wake up to tomorrow. It builds exactly what you instruct it to build before you close your eyes. If you go to sleep anxious about your crushing debt, the contractor takes that blueprint. It spends 8 hours building a prison of scarcity. And then you wake up wondering why your life feels incredibly hard. Every thought is a seed, every action is water, and your physical reality is the ultimate harvest. You cannot plant toxic seeds and expect a magnificent garden. You might say you have already planted the right seeds. You read the books and you repeat positive words aloud, but nothing ever changes in your bank account. Here is the brutal truth the elite do not want you to know. The reason the universe responds to the 1% and ignores the rest is not because they work harder than you. It is entirely biological. Deep inside your brain is a tiny region called the hippocampus. In the insanely wealthy, this region is thick and highly developed. It is constantly broadcasting a microscopic frequency that literally pulls money and opportunities toward them like a giant magnet. They do not have to force anything. The wealth simply flows to them effortlessly because their receiver is completely open. But for the average person, the biological reality is much darker. Because you were not born into a wealthy family, you inherited a severe biological disadvantage. Science calls this condition a shrunken hippocampus. Instead of broadcasting a magnetic wealth frequency, your brain is trapped broadcasting a desperate survival wave. Your natural ability to attract abundance is completely switched off. The modern world is designed to keep it exactly that way. Every time you stress over bills, this tiny region shrinks a little more. You are commanding wealth to appear while your internal receiver is powered down. Remember the question I asked you to hold earlier? The one about your struggle being a dormant frequency waiting to be switched on? The answer is incredibly close now. This is the exact reason why the law of attraction has been failing you. You cannot outwill a misprogrammed mind. You can write your goals down 1,000 times, but a shrunken hippocampus will always override your conscious desires. The drifter accepts this terrible fate and complains about how unfair society is. But the Creator does not complain about the rules. The Creator studies the hidden mechanism and then masters it. You must understand that the universe works strictly by law and not by random clock. Gravity does not care if you are a good person or a bad person. It pulls you down regardless of your moral character. The law of mental frequency operates in the exact same cold and calculating manner. Your current frequency is the only thing dictating your financial reality. It is a biological block passed down quietly from generation to generation. It silently sabotages your highest potential while you are busy hustling. Millions of men will go to their graves believing they just did not work hard enough. You are watching this because you refuse to be one of those men. You feel the heavy weight of this truth resonating inside your bones. The exhaustion you feel is the fierce friction of a brain fighting its own survival wave. It takes massive amounts of physical energy to push against a closed door. The 1% do not push against the heavy door. They simply use the right mental protocol to unlock it and walk right through with absolute ease. Stop what you are doing and listen to me carefully. A wrong decision is always better than no decision at all. Drifting is the ultimate enemy of human evolution. You must make a firm decision today to stop acting like a victim of your biology. It is not your fault that you were handed a shrunken hippocampus, but it is absolutely your responsibility to fix it before it destroys your future. The masses wait endlessly for a miracle to save them. The 1% use a specific scientific instrument to secure their massive empire. You have been playing a rigged game with a broken tool. But the incredible power to fix that tool has always existed. It was known by the greatest minds in history long before modern science gave it a clinical name. Ancient spiritual leaders taught about an internal frequency that siphons wealth into your life like a vacuum. They knew that the mind is a powerful magnetic force. They did not have the word hippocampus, but they perfectly understood the mechanism. They knew that true power is generated in the dark silence of the mind. They knew you must direct your thoughts, or they will direct you. There is no neutral thought in this world. Every single thought is either pushing you forward or pulling you back into the dirt. It is either moving you toward total freedom or reinforcing your invisible bondage. The man who finally realizes this begins to treat his thoughts as powerful tools. He stops treating his daily thoughts as meaningless toys to be tossed around. You must become the ruthless mental gatekeeper of your own reality. You must stand at the door of your subconscious and demand absolute order. When the survival wave tries to tell you that you are poor, you must reject it instantly. You must act as if nothing is impossible. You are exactly what you have commanded your mind to become. But making that confident decision requires more than just empty words. It requires a fundamental shift in your biological architecture. You must rewire the hardware before you can successfully run the new software. The drifter ignores this basic logic and continues to struggle in vain. The sovereign commander equips himself with every single advantage available to him. I want you to think about the immense power of your own potential. If a shrunken hippocampus is the only thing keeping you trapped in poverty, then expanding it is the ultimate key to your freedom. This is not just abstract philosophy. This is cold and undeniable scientific law. Like gravity, it works every single time it is correctly applied by a disciplined mind. Let us look to the example of the greatest minds in human history. Men like Thomas Edison and Leonardo da Vinci understood this secret perfectly. They spent years trying to unravel the mysteries of this exact internal brain power source. And even though they did not have access to modern clinical data, they knew that the quiet moments right before sleep were the most important hours of the day. They used these dark hours to deliberately commission wealth. They refused to let their subconscious mind drift aimlessly. They forced their brains into a specific state of deep hypnagogic focus. The drifter falls asleep, paralyzed by his endless daily anxiety. The master commands his mind with absolute authority before his eyes ever close. You might look at their massive achievements and assume that these titans were simply born with a special gift that you do not possess. The masses will call it pure luck and say you were born different. But the exact opposite is actually true. The ability to tune your mind to the frequency of absolute abundance is a biological mechanism. It is a natural mechanism that the elite class has desperately tried to hide from you. Before we go any further into this law, I have to share a breakthrough that changes everything about how you view your own potential. It is a profound discovery that elite billionaires have spent vast fortunes to keep strictly hidden from the exhausted public. A rogue neuroscientist formerly working on classified CIA experiments recently leaked a shocking discovery. He and his highly trained team found a proven way to wake up that dormant wealth frequency. They discovered how to rapidly reverse the terrible effects of a shrunken hippocampus. And the most incredible part is that they did not do it through decades of exhausting meditation or relentless daily journaling routines. They discovered something infinitely simpler and far more powerful. It is a precise and perfectly engineered 7-minute sound frequency. When listened to quietly, this acoustic wave bypasses your conscious mind completely and goes straight to work. It directly stimulates that tiny region of your brain responsible for attracting massive wealth. 4 independent neuroscience labs have already verified this incredible biological activation to be entirely real. Researchers on the campuses of Harvard and Yale are observing this exact brainwave shift right now. They found that this frequency forces the brain to stop broadcasting the deadly survival wave forever. It immediately flips the switch on your natural ability to attract massive wealth and unexpected luck. It is a completely effortless ritual that you can perform in your own home, and the energetic shift begins the very first time you listen. I will tell you exactly what this is called before this message ends. I will show you how to easily access it. But first, there is one final piece of the puzzle you must deeply understand. You might think you are losing your mind because you feel deeply unsatisfied with life. You feel disconnected from your old friends, and you struggle to sleep peacefully. Here is the powerful truth. No one ever tells you about this specific kind of pain because society wants to medicate you instead of actually waking you up. You are not losing your mind at all. You are simply losing your old toxic programming. Your physical exhaustion is actually a massive sign of internal evolution. It means your spirit is fiercely fighting against the unnatural survival wave. The dark isolation you feel right now is simply the heavy resistance of the drifter dying inside you. Do not fear this necessary pain. You must welcome it as the ultimate sign of personal growth. Your subconscious is begging for a new set of instructions to follow tonight. It wants to build a magnificent empire, but you keep handing it blueprints for a tiny cage. This is exactly why you feel a terrible friction in your chest every single morning when you wake up to face another day. The creator inside you is screaming to be fully released from the invisible prison of average living. The consumer simply waits and reacts to whatever circumstances the world violently throws at him, but the creator decisively initiates and leads his own physical reality. You are watching this lesson today because you belong to the rare 1% who refuse to be completely broken by the system. You have felt the sacred call to greatness echoing in your weary soul. Now you must finally answer that urgent call with unwavering discipline. Stop what you are doing and listen to this closely. You cannot afford to waste another night of sleep on idle worries and endless anxiety. Every single hour you spend sleeping in fear is another heavy brick added to your invisible financial prison. You must violently tear down those heavy walls tonight. You must treat your sleep as a sacred ritual of pure mental architecture. We are getting very close to the exact thing you can actually do tonight to change your life. The universe is waiting for you to step up and confidently claim your rightful throne. But it will never hand you the heavy crown if you continue to act like a desperate beggar. You must approach the universe with the unshakable confidence of a sovereign commander. You must demand your biological inheritance. The elite billionaires secretly fund aggressive lawyers to keep this knowledge away from the struggling middle class. They want you to stay exhausted and permanently trapped in the endless hustle culture. They absolutely need you to remain a passive drifter so they can continue to build their massive empires on your tired back. But the moment you take dominion over your brainwaves, their control over you is completely shattered. You do not get what you casually want in this life. You get exactly what you biologically are. And until you elevate the energetic signature of your dominant thoughts, nothing will ever change. No amount of physical labor will make you rich if your brain is biologically rejecting wealth on a subconscious level. You must align your internal frequency with the universal law of absolute abundance. Let us make this plain and incredibly clear. The drifter constantly complains about the storm and weakly waits for the wind to finally stop blowing. The creator builds a powerful windmill and uses the chaotic storm to generate massive electricity for his empire. Which one are you going to be when the sun finally goes down tonight? You must decide before your head hits the pillow. Hesitation is the death of destiny. Now we are getting close to the thing you can actually do to change your reality. You now know the hidden mechanism behind your massive financial struggles. Protecting your energy from the survival wave is only the first step, and now you must learn how to aggressively multiply that energy before you sleep. And that brings us to the unbreakable law of cosmic housekeeping. You must completely eliminate the daily noise. The drifter falls asleep, scrolling through endless negative news and toxic social media feeds. He lets the chaotic world dictate his final thoughts of the day. The creator builds a massive wall around his mind because he knows his attention is deeply sacred. He forcefully shuts out the frantic world at least 1 hour before his eyes close. You cannot build an empire on a foundation of digital garbage. If you want to take dominion over your physical reality, you must first take absolute dominion over your attention. I command you to put the cheap distractions away tonight. You must sit in the pure silence of your own mind for 15 uninterrupted minutes. This is not a suggestion, but a strict biological necessity. During these silent minutes, you will perform the ultimate mental clearing. You must actively cast out every single thought of doubt and intense fear. These toxic emotions are nothing but heavy parasites feeding on your limited energy, and you must starve them to death by completely refusing to give them your precious attention. Cut them off without any hesitation whatsoever tonight. Say this aloud right now, wherever you are currently sitting. I am the absolute master of my fate. I am the architect of my success, and I am the cause of my reality. Say it again until your physical body actually believes it. Let the powerful vibration of these words begin to rewrite your mind so you can finally break free. You are no longer playing the miserable victim to external circumstances. You must act as if nothing is impossible, because nothing is when you truly believe. You are a sovereign commander issuing strict orders to a tireless contractor. The universe will build exactly what you confidently demand in this quiet space, so you must never ask for riches like a beggar pleading for loose change. You must absolutely expect them to arrive at your door. Now let us make this incredibly practical. You must possess a definite chief aim. You cannot give your subconscious a vague desire and expect a concrete physical result. A vague wish for more money is the exact language of the hopeless drifter. The builder knows exactly what his empire looks like down to the very last brick, and he leaves absolutely nothing to random chance. Take a blank piece of paper and write your singular focus down. Write your ultimate commitment in clear and completely undeniable terms. Read it morning and night, and treat this tradition as an absolutely sacred duty. This paper is the ultimate blueprint you are handing over to your mind, and it tells the biological receiver exactly what frequency to tune into while you rest. Close your eyes right now and visualize that single massive goal. Feel the heavy weight of it already existing in your physical hands. The drifter always says he will believe it when he finally sees it. The creator knows that he will only see it when he completely believes it in his soul. You must flip the entire script of your reality starting tonight. You must command your inheritance, but you must also practice the ruthless law of elimination. You cannot hold on to your old identity while trying to step into your new supreme power. You must violently cut away the toxic habits and the negative people holding you back. If your old friends constantly mock your ambition, you must leave them behind without a second thought, because you have no time for their weak energy. You are a massive magnetic force pulling a totally new world into existence. You cannot afford to carry the dead weight of their miserable survival waves. This cold calmness will definitely offend the weak and stagnant people around you. They will call you arrogant, and they will loudly complain that you have completely changed. That is exactly what you want to hear from them. Let them be offended. You want them to see the profound shift in your energetic signature. You want the universe to clearly recognize that you are no longer available for average living. Every time you say no to a cheap distraction, you are screaming yes to your true destiny. Your attention is the most valuable currency you will ever possess in this entire life, and you must guard it with your very life. Protect your focus with the absolute ferocity of a starving lion. You are the sole gatekeeper of your mental temple. Nothing enters this sacred space without your explicit and conscious permission. If a thought does not actively serve your definite chief aim, you must instantly destroy it. You must show zero mercy to your own internal weakness and eradicate it from your mind completely tonight. This is precisely how you reprogram the biological block inside your head. It takes severe and constant discipline to override a lifetime of poor mental habits. But the incredible reward is a life of effortless abundance and total financial freedom, where money simply flows to you because you match its high frequency. The drifter will hear these instructions and quickly forget them by tomorrow morning. The drifter will simply return to his invisible and miserable prison. The master will use this exact protocol tonight and change his life forever. Which one are you going to be when the dark night finally falls around you? You now know the hidden mechanism, and you know the powerful ritual required to fix it. The heavy burden of responsibility now rests entirely on your own shoulders. You can no longer blame the unfair world for your lack of massive progress. You must understand that repetition is the mother of all permanent biological change. Your brain has spent decades practicing the dangerous and exhausting art of anxiety. You cannot expect to undo 20 years of heavy programming with just 5 minutes of positive thinking. You must attack this problem with relentless force. The time for playing small is completely over. You are standing at the ultimate edge of your own physical existence. You must say to yourself that you will no longer tolerate an incredibly average life. That dark chapter of your life is completely over. You must ruthlessly kill the weak drifter inside your mind tonight. The world is not waiting for a perfect version of you to finally appear. It is waiting for a conscious creator who walks in supreme power. You are one single decision away from a totally new life. But that massive shift will not happen unless you forcefully make it happen. I challenge you to make a final decision right now. You cannot return to the chaos of the masses once you know the absolute truth. You must step into the quiet power of the 1%. Remember the crucial question I asked you to hold at the very beginning of this message. What if your financial struggle is not a lack of hustle, but a dormant frequency waiting to be switched on? Here is the final answer you have been desperately waiting for. A microscopic wealth attraction frequency is naturally active in the top 1%. It is strictly driven by a thick and highly developed hippocampus. Classified CIA research officially confirmed this biological reality. 4 independent neuroscience labs fully verified it beyond any doubt. Researchers on the campuses of Harvard and Yale are observing it right now. Dr. Thomas Summers is a rogue New York neuroscientist who formerly worked on these top-secret experiments. He utterly refused to let elite billionaires keep this biological cheat code completely hidden. He and his brilliant team spent years meticulously compressing the clinical protocol for hippocampus growth. They compressed it into a simple and highly effective audio track that anyone can easily use at home. Before I tell you what they built, let me tell you about 2 people who actually used it. Emma was a former nurse from California who felt her family was under a dark financial curse. She was completely exhausted and drowning in heavy daily debt. After just 3 days of listening to this track, she broke the vicious cycle completely. She confidently quit her exhausting job and sold her house for way over the asking price. She now travels the world on passive income and proudly shares this massive abundance with her children. Michael was a former policeman in Florida who needed to scale his business. Within 5 days, he quadrupled his high-paying clients and found himself networking with absolute elites. He rapidly expanded his business and said the journey was almost effortlessly crazy. That is exactly because of what Dr. Summers and his brilliant researchers discovered in that hidden laboratory. The staggering results speak for themselves when the biological block is finally removed forever. They call it The billionaire brainwave. It is not a generic manifestation app, and it is not a useless motivation tape. It is a highly engineered 7-minute binaural sound wave. It is specifically designed to directly stimulate your hippocampus and pull it completely out of dormancy. That is the entirety of the hard work required from you to finally start building your empire. You just need 7 minutes in the quiet morning with your headphones on and your eyes closed. You can simply listen while you sip your morning coffee. You do not journal endlessly, and you do not repeat forced affirmations. You simply let the precise acoustic frequency aggressively rewire your brain to receive massive abundance. It is a biological upgrade for your physical mind. The billionaire brainwave is definitely not for everyone. It is heavily reserved for the visionary who has already done the inner work and understands the biological block. If your spirit confirms this is for you, the path is fully ready. Private neuroacoustic sessions to reverse a shrunken hippocampus cost hundreds of dollars per hour in a clinical setting. Elite billionaires invest massive fortunes to access this exact same frequency. What Dr. Summers leaked to the public delivers the exact same neurological shift in just 7 minutes, and it is available to you today for a tiny fraction of its true clinical value. It costs less than a few cups of hot coffee to claim your inheritance. 4 powerful bonuses are included to rapidly accelerate your new reality. You will receive a digital guide to managing massive wealth called the Warren Buffett Pyramid. You also receive a deep breakdown of 7 lazy millionaire habits and an emergency quick cash manifestation audio track. Finally, you get an inspiring collection of 500 billionaire success stories to completely anchor your mind in endless abundance. Here is the deeper truth about waiting for the perfect moment. The massive financial windfalls you have been praying for are already circling your life. The incredible blessing is not missing because your biological receiver is simply broken. The chosen one who restores their frequency today finally sees the financial windfalls that were always waiting. Delaying means letting your inheritance remain totally invisible. Do not look for this specific frequency on platforms like YouTube or Spotify. The generic tracks circulating under similar names on those platforms have absolutely zero binaural entrainment technology encoded. They are highly dangerous fakes meant to distract you from the truth. The only authentic and neurologically active version is available through the official link below. This comes with a billionaire's ironclad promise. The universe requires absolutely no financial risk from you today. If you do not experience a physical and undeniable increase in your wealth and luck, every single penny is returned to you immediately. It is a powerful, energetic exchange governed by complete trust. The link is waiting for you in the description and in the pinned comment below. The tool is not the final destination of your great journey. It simply repairs your biological receiver so the wealth you visualize can finally materialize in physical form. Abundance is your natural birthright, and the universe requires no transaction for you to truly deserve it. What the elite researchers built is just one powerful accelerator to help you reach your ultimate goal. Whether you consciously choose that path or not, let us go deeper into your ultimate mental preparation. You must be mentally prepared to receive the massive opportunities the universe will immediately send your way. A restored frequency can quickly open the heavy door to abundance, but your billionaire mindset must still confidently walk through it with absolute authority. If your deep intuition confirms that the frequency tool described earlier is your missing key, the path remains completely open in the description below. That is the final time I will ever mention it to you. What follows now belongs entirely to the sacred sealing of your new mental architecture. You are completely ready to make your ultimate vow to the watching universe. The long time for drifting is officially over. You have heard the universal law, and you now know that every excuse you ever made was nothing but a fragile shadow. Tonight, as you close your eyes, you must make a massive choice. Will you cowardly return to the chaos of the desperate masses? Or will you step boldly into the quiet power of the 1%? If you are completely ready to command your destiny, you must seal your decision right now. Write your definite purpose in the comments below. Let those powerful words be the sacred contract you sign with the universe. Do not let this massive knowledge fade into the noisy background of tomorrow. The subconscious requires fierce repetition to build a totally new world. Subscribe to this channel if you belong to the rare 1% who refuse to drift. Return to this lesson every single night until your new reality completely bends to your iron will. Break free once and for all from the heavy shackles of negative thinking. Your thoughts are the only key, and your great destiny is waiting. Never again let a dark thought decide your future.